Hello, I'm the real-life fake wizard. Today, my brother and I are gonna rank every movie that I saw in 2025. Not every movie that came out, every movie I personally watched. I'm not a film critic. I'm just a fake wizard who watches movies and talks about them on the internet. If by the end of this video I have brought you any value or any entertainment, consider subscribing to this channel. Before we get into the tier list, I want to give a shout out to Criticless for creating a platform designed for normal folks to write reviews and share their ideas about movies and shows. I'm on Criticless. I leave reviews for lots of movies I see. Honestly, I often find myself watching movies just with the express motivation to write a review on Criticless later on. It's changed the way I engage with going to theaters. This is not a sponsorship or anything, just to be clear. Blaine and the Criticless team are just friends of the channel. If you want a place to share your own thoughts on the movies you watch, check out criticless.com. All right, let's rank some movies.
First movie we're gonna do is Mickey 17.
We saw Mickey 17. This movie was way too long. I didn't really care for it. What were your thoughts?
Weak. The only thing that this movie does good is that it has Robert Pattinson in it, and he's the best part of the movie. He did a great job. Otherwise, skippable. I think that's the best term for it. It's skippable.
I remember walking out annoyed because it was too long. Like, it's aggressively long, and it gets very preachy towards the end, like politically.
I wouldn't even say towards the end. The entire movie is preachy, and it's just like, it's annoying.
Yeah, and there's the romance between Robert Pattinson and one of the female leads, and it's not believable at all.
And she's infallible and kind of just like chooses him, even though he's pretty uncharismatic. Like, it doesn't make make sense.
A lot of that feels very forced.
I'm thinking C.
So we should establish our own ground rules first going into this between the two of us. Like, we can move them around as we add more movies, but I do think we should start that because it's not necessarily poorly acted.
It's not an F. It wasn't like I really do think that this is going to be going to the Oscars. I wouldn't be upset if Robert Pattinson won an Oscar for this.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Let's go ahead and we could put that in C.
It's C. The movie itself is not good, but he does a great job.
Right.
All right, next is Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
All right, well, this one's going to be interesting because we watched the first film in preparation to go see the second one. And then the first one is so aggressively terrible that we didn't go see the second. I have no desire to ever see any Five Nights Freddy's movies ever again. That first film is god-awful.
I continue to make jokes of it's like, oh, you know what we should do today? We should go see Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And it was always met with, yeah, you're joking, but we're not going to go do that.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
We're not going to go do that.
That first film is god-awful.
It is didn't watch.
Yeah, it goes in the didn't watch category. It's the first film on this list we didn't watch because mediocrity.
We got Christy.
Yeah, so Christy is the what's her face? Who's in this? Who is it? It's that chick that everybody Sydney Sweeney.
So getting all of the posters for this, it's Sydney Sweeney. The only poster I could find that was clear enough quality to actually see is in Spanish. It's not even in English.
Are we using the Spanish picture? I know it's very small for audiences to see.
We are.
All right, so this is Christy Spanish edition poster, and this could also go in the C tier. This is a C-list film. A lot of people didn't go to see this because nobody knows it exists. In fact, you guys watching at home probably didn't know this Sydney Sweeney movie even existed. It's such a skippable movie. It's biopic. It was for Oscar bait, and I don't care for it. It's a very I mean, it's tragic. There is some tragicness to the story, and it's based on a real story of this boxer, but I just don't care. I didn't care the whole time. Sydney Sweeney could act, I think. Maybe, but this wasn't. It's a lesbian romance movie. This is a lesbian romance movie with tragedy mixed in to real life story. It wasn't gonna bring all of the gooners on the internet out to see it. It just wasn't gonna do that.
Was this in theaters?
Yes, yeah. For a limited time, this was in theaters. I think.
Oh, so it was a limited run. Is this an artsy fartsy film?
I mean, it is an art. It's definitely one of the artsy fartsy films, but it bombed at the box office, and everybody kind of talked about how badly it bombed, and that wasn't good.
Okay, next on the list is Frankenstein.
Did you see Frankenstein?
I have not yet, no.
I've heard really good things, then I haven't seen it.
Okay, so
it goes on
did not watch.
That's right. It's a did not watch.
I remember when it came out, both of us were trying to find theaters that had it.
Thank you.
We could not find any in location. And by the time that it finally hit streaming, we were busy with other things.
That you are 100% correct. This is a movie that, and I'm really glad you brought that up. This is a movie that should have dropped in September or October for Halloween, and then it didn't, but it got this extraordinarily limited run in theaters prior to Halloween for like literally 5 or 6 theaters around the country in the United States. And we were looking it up, trying to find theaters. We were going to go see it. There was none playing near us. And then Halloween hits, Halloween's gone. Now we're in November. It's like the second week of November that Frankenstein actually drops. And it was, again, in a small amount of theaters. And at that point, I just didn't care. I was annoyed because I was ready to go to the theater that day thinking that it was out prior to Halloween. And it wasn't.
Yeah, and the closest theater was like an hour and a half away.
Yeah, it just wasn't.
It would have been a ridiculous amount of drive for like, and it's not a short movie. I believe it's a 2.5 to 3 hour. So it'd be like, oh yeah, here's the entire day gone.
Yeah, it would have been a full day for a Frankenstein movie, and it's going to be on Netflix. But this is the cost of Netflix, right? So, I mean, we are the living embodiment of, hey, we would have gone to see this in theaters, but it's just going to be on streaming, so I'm not going to make the trip. Also, you guys didn't meet us in the middle to make it accommodating for us. Something to consider.
Next on the list is the newest Mission Impossible.
Okay, so it kind of convenient that all of the movies that I didn't watch were like early on in this list. And really, I put them, I had given Tom the list of the movies that I wanted to talk about because and some of them we didn't see, mostly because there was like, and there's stories around it as to why. So for Mission Impossible, I've not seen really any prior Mission Impossible films. I've seen the first one. I thought it was a little goofy. And then I've seen the Dead Reckoning, whatever the previous film was for Mission Impossible. And I watched it in preparation to go see this like final film. And that last movie, it's goofy. It's like a goofy action film that just doesn't stop, and the plot makes like kind of no sense. Like I'm surprised more people don't goof on these movies. Seriously, because the plots are all over the place and the tech that they have is like super convenient. The overcoming obstacles is always like kind of convenient. I understand these movies are action set pieces, but why aren't more people making fun of the plots of these movies? They are goofy movies. It feels like Michael Bay made these. And I know Michael Bay didn't, but like it's 2007 Transformers over and over and over.
My theory on these movies is that it's the people that really just like Tom Cruise and they just regurgitate the fact of, oh, did you know he does his own stunts? Like, it's the same people that freaked out when, what was the other Tom Cruise movie that came out? I want to say 2022 when theaters were going back up that everyone was fawning over.
Top Gun. Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
Which was very good.
Was that really good? Or
it was very good.
Would you say that it falled in a similar line with the Mission Impossible movies that you've watched?
No, it's better than the Mission Impossible movies. Yeah, okay. Definitely. Maverick was a very good film.
Because I had this running theory that it was just like the Tom Cruise fan base of like, oh, he does his own stunts. Oh, he does this. He's so cool.
Yeah, that's what the Mission Impossible movies are as well. But I mean, if you're into that, like, cool, you get the action set pieces, but there's the story there is really hard to care about.
All right, then we got The Legend of Ochi.
Legend of Ochi it feels a little long. It's a fun idea. I watched it, and yet, unfortunately, I don't really remember all of it. I know that it's the idea of it's this little monkey, this little creature, and they're trying to get it back home to its its people. Very E.T. Very E.T. I know Finn Wolfhard is in it. I remember thinking this kid cannot act, and this was before Stranger Things 5 was out, and it was it was earlier in 2025. But I really do not remember anything other than Willem Dafoe being the knockout of this. Like, that's why I wanted to watch it. I'm like, Willem Dafoe and a little monkey creature go on an E.T. adventure. That's what this is.
Well, isn't he the antagonist?
He might be. I don't remember. And so that's the other thing. I'm trying to do this list as almost entirely off of memory, because I think that's the fairest way to assess, like, all right, time has passed. How do I actually feel about these movies now that they have, like, settled, you know?
So would you say, because you don't remember hating it per se.
I definitely didn't hate it. No, I remember how I felt about it, because I still have those feelings.
Would you say B?
That's okay. I would put it in a B. Yeah, it's a B, which it shouldn't be in a B because I don't really remember anything. But I think it's a safe enough film. It's not an A. It's not an S. I think B is good enough for Legend of Ochi. It's a good movie. I just have no reason to ever watch it again. It's a good flick. It's good. The kids, I think, could watch it. Maybe 13 and up. I think there's a little bit of swearing in there, so maybe not little kids.
Next, we have Karate Kid Legends.
Okay, Karate Kid Legends is something they shouldn't have made. I think it's, as time has passed on this, I think it's kind of a stain on the Cobra Kai ending. Cobra Kai was such a good show, and it had such a good ending, and this feels hollow. This Karate Kid Legends feels empty. It feels like a cash grab. We know that the budget behind Karate Kid Legends was really low. It's noticeable. It's not a bad film. It's a little boring. It's a C. It's a C for me. Yeah. Did you see it?
Next I have not seen it. No. I remember it was another one of those movies that we were like, do we want to go see this yet?
Yeah. No.
Next we have The Electric State, another Netflix original. I have not seen this movie, but I've heard horrifically bad, terrible things about it.
It's a visual masterpiece. It is some of the best CGI in a long time, and I say that as somebody who's incredibly critical of CGI. Most of the CGI we get now is garbage. It's rushed. We know that the VFX department is overworked and underpaid, and this film cost $300 million to make last time we got an estimate, and it's just not a good film, and that's unfortunate. This is, I think, the first F of the list. It has a very serious plot. Like, it's a very serious story. Chris Pratt does the best with what he's got, but he's just, I mean, this is just another movie where Chris Pratt plays Chris Pratt. And the story here is about robots and having emotional connections to robots. I know it's based on a comic book. Millie Bobby Brown kind of phones it in. I don't. That's a really good question. When does she not? Maybe earlier on in Stranger Things, she was a little more real. It's not I don't really care for it. I hope it doesn't get any sequels. And it was also, this is the first big kind of sign that Doomsday might be in trouble, because this is the Russo brothers that did Electric State.
The Russo brothers, yes.
Yeah.
See, I have a fun perspective on it, because I have not watched this movie, but I remember in Comic-Con 2024, they were doing a very large push on this of marketing. Yeah. They had like robots on the show floor, and they had like a whole panel for it. And I remember specifically looking at it and going, I do not care to look into this or watch this movie. And that continued the entire time. It did not do anything for me to be interested in watching the film. But a film that we all had to watch and see because of how bad it was War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds with Ice Cube. This is right into the F tier. Just put it right into the dumpster.
What are you talking about? This is an amazing movie.
We're gonna end this video right now, and I'm gonna. Hold on, I'm on my way. Oh no, they locked the doors.
I can't get out.
I can't get out.
I know that this movie was technically shot during COVID. That's why there are no scenes that take place together.
Right.
But still, holy cannoli, this movie is bad.
This movie we watched it, and it's running the chances of being so bad it's good, but then it doesn't stick its own landing of being so bad it's good. It's just awful. This is a dreadful film.
It hits that midpoint of like slog where it just drags and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, most of the so bad it's good, you have to overcome that Act 2 slog. Most of the so bad it's good, they have an incredible Act 1 that you buy in, or like really great early scenes that you buy in, but it's how you continue that buy-in, and usually right at the end of Act 1, you're like, oh no, this is just a bad movie. And
No,
this is a bad movie.
I'm done. I'm gonna either skip through this to try and find more funny parts, or I'm just gonna click off.
Yeah, this is, do not waste your time with War of the Worlds. Enough people have talked about it. It's bad. It's a waste of your time. It's not good.
All right, next is another streaming exclusive. We have Heads of the State.
Heads of the State. Toss that right into the F tier. This is another F tier film. This is the John Cena, Idris Elba movie. I think it's an Amazon Prime exclusive. And
all three of the F tier movies at this moment were all streaming exclusive.
Yep. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. And in fact, as of right now, and we are still very early on in this list, the B tier is an indie film. The highest on this list so far is an
indie film. Yes,
that's right. But yeah, Heads of the State, the John Cena, Idris Elba movie. This is a PG-13. Maybe it's a rated R pacifier. Remember the pacifier?
Yes, with Vin Diesel.
Yeah, there's that certain kind of the pacifier Vin Diesel film. I mean, we watched it so much as kids that for me, I've just kind of outlined in my brain the schematics that movies use to match that kind of film. And this is that kind of blueprint. It is that, oh my gosh, we have to go on this little adventure to overcome the obstacles. I remember I watched it with Mom, and then after that, I'm like, there's a better version of this, and it's called My Fellow Americans, and it's a comedy with Jack Lemmon and Dan Aykroyd, and that is a fun movie. And
you have a great point. Why did we watch The Pacifier so much?
Because all right, so for us, that 2005, I can answer this. 2005 to 2008 for us, we lived in that like lower middle class dead zone of entertainment where there was, but also the world was in that kind of dead zone as well, where there was just nothing good coming out at that time, right? We were already past Lord of the Rings. We were too soon for Xbox 360s. Like, we didn't get an Xbox until like it was already out and everybody had it. So gaming for us, we were still on like the PS2. Movies were kind of bland at the time for us, and we were still kids.
We were on handheld. We were all on our, we weren't on the Game Boys anymore. We were on DSs.
Yes.
And it was that time where we would have they had the old Game Boy cartridges where it had movies on them. And we had like the ones that had like SpongeBob episodes or Pokemon episodes.
Okay. Well, but funny enough with that, those were out earlier than when we got them. So we were using those at that time, but they had already been out like 2 or 3 years, probably longer. Because we had that delay. We were delayed with our releases.
We waited for Circuit City to have them cheap.
Absolutely.
Circuit City existed.
Circuit City discounts were awesome.
It was Circuit City and Kmart. That's where we would party out,
Oh yeah, it was a sad day when Circuit City died.
All right, next on the list is Zootopia 2.
Zootopia 2. Any thoughts?
I have not watched this movie.
Have
you.
I couldn't stomach the idea of seeing this again. Put it in the didn't watch. This is, I just didn't care. I just don't care.
I've heard good things. What ended up kind of happening is that this movie, 2025 has been a year, to say the least. And a lot of movies we did not go to see just for the sole fact that they were like, we don't have time to do this,
Yeah.
nor do we really want to. And
Right.
Zootopia 2 was specifically one of those movies that it was like, we could go to the movie theaters right now, but we have a million things we're working on. We'd rather not, spend the 4 hours it's going to take to get over to the theater, watch the movie, and come back.
Right. Yeah. Zootopia 2 is a skip. Maybe we'll catch it. No, I'm not going to. No, we're not going to watch it. Next.
All right. Next is something that you have not watched, but I have, is K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yes. I put it on here so that we could talk about it because, yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know you have. This is. I'm going to defer to you. Where do you think this belongs on here?
I think it belongs in B tier. I don't
Really?
think it's an A tier. I honestly could say
Really?
it's an A tier, but as the amount of time has passed since it's come out and I've watched it, I don't really know if it holds the best. I would probably have to watch it again just to really confirm, but it is an enjoyable time. I had a fun time watching it. I did enjoy it. I thought the songs were catchy. I thought the characters were cool. I liked the animation is really good. It's the Sony studios that did the last two animated Spider-Man movies. They did Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse. So it's done by a really good animation studio. It's very interesting because this was a movie that Sony did not have any faith in.
Right.
And it was supposed to have a theatrical release, but they ended up selling it to be Netflix exclusive, right? Or is it on? Where's it on? Is it on?
No,
Netflix?
it's on Netflix. Yeah, yeah. Sony
Yeah.
thought it was a stinker,
Sony
so they sold it for pennies to Netflix.
And then it ended up becoming, I believe, this is the biggest hit of 2025.
As far as films is, I believe you're correct, and it also made the music charts for a while.
It topped the music charts for several weeks, if not, I think, month.
So I'm going to challenge you here, though.
Where
I got to challenge you because you just pointed out all these accolades that it got, and all these records. Is that a contributing factor to you saying it belongs in the B?
No.
Or did you genuinely like it?
I genuinely liked it, which is where my issue with it is that it has kids movie syndrome where you can tell that it's like, oh, this may have been a little bit better, but they kind of watered it down for it being a kids movie. But it's not a bad movie per se. I did enjoy it. I'm now debating maybe putting it in A.
Really? All right. Well, put it up to B, and if we need to move it to A later,
I'm gonna put it in B. I'm gonna sit on it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think this is one of those movies that it's like, oh, all the kids watched it. It's like, next is Final Destination Bloodlines.
All right. So I saw this opening day, and again, this is a pretty interesting one. You can go ahead and toss this onto C. Final Destination Bloodlines. If you know the Final Destination films, they're all pretty much the same. Everybody in there is more than likely not going to make it to the credits, and that's the idea of the film. I thought it was hysterical. I thought it felt schlocky almost. If you go back and watch some of the earlier Final Destinations, I remember watching the third one, whichever the one, I think it was the third one with the roller coaster. I remember being like, this is scary, right? And to some extent, the early Final Destination films were putting the characters in positions where, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of that thing now because of how crazy this death scene is. So as an example, being on a roller coaster and having a bolt pop out of the roller coaster and causing your death. Like now, that's something that every time you get on a roller coaster, that's going to pop into your head. Like, what if this thing breaks while I'm on it? Or the tanning bed scene, the infamous tanning bed scene. It's like, oh my gosh, if I get trapped inside the tanning bed, it could roast me. And like, these are things that are actually scary. Final Destination Bloodlines all of the kills are something funny. And like it's dark. Obviously that's dark humor. It's grotesque of watching these people get massacred, but they're funny. There's not a single thing in here where I'm like, oh, I'm actually frightened by this. Many of the deaths you're like, that's funny.
You were telling me one of the deaths is like a guy trips over and he just gets run over by a lawnmower, right?
Yes, it's hysterical. And like if you're into, and I guess I'm taking the mask off that I'm not normal, but in the theater that I was in, I was laughing and no one else was, and I was like, oh, this is supposed to be serious, but I can't take this film seriously because the film is not serious. And I think that's kind of funny because there was some other YouTubers on here that I'm pals with and I stream with that were like, oh my gosh, this is like such a great movie and it's so good. I'm like, this is like a B movie, and it belongs in the C tier on this list.
All right, next on the list is The Naked Gun.
The Naked Gun.
We did both watch this film. You saw it in theaters. I saw it afterwards.
Okay, I think it's an A.
I agree.
I think Naked Gun is an A. It belongs in the A. It's funny. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It knows when to be funny and when to pull back. It's good. I don't have any complaints about this film. This movie knew what it was. It knew what it had to do. It stuck the landing. Liam Neeson is awesome. I hope this movie made enough money to get a sequel. The jokes in there were great from start to finish. I don't have any complaints about Naked Gun. I think it was a good watch, and it feels like Hollywood trying to come back to comedy, even though it's just still terrified to come back to comedy. And this is the first attempt at them actually coming back to being funny for comedy films.
Next, we have The Luckiest Man in America.
The Luckiest Man in America. So I don't think, you didn't see this, right?
I didn't. I remember having interest in it, but I did not watch it.
Right, I did, and I think we should put it in B tier. This is another indie film, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's an indie film, and it's about a guy goes on a game show and he figures out how to trick the system, and he's kind of a doofus in the real world, and he's winning all this money, and it's about how he's cheating the system. He figured out the hack. And really, it's just a mental game, and you're pushing the button at the buzzer at the right time. He figured out the pattern to break it, and you get to see behind the scenes of how the studio is losing their minds over this and trying to outmaneuver and outplay him. It's an interesting film, and it's a good movie, and it's well acted. It's not an A simply for the reason of I think there's absolutely no reason to ever watch it again. It's a one-time good enough experience, well acted. It's a good movie, and it's a B. It might get shifted to A. I'm going to say it might get shifted to A. We'll see where things go.
All right, so we have two teetering on B to A right now.
That's right.
Next, we have the last movie that we both saw in theaters together was Predator: Badlands.
I think this is a B.
I agree.
Yeah.
You didn't make a video talking about it, or you never really voiced your opinion on it, have you?
Not here on YouTube. I talked about it on Twitter, and I think I did a review on Criticless. Regardless, if you're not already on Criticless, you should go to Criticless and sign up and leave movie reviews. I leave as many as I can, but yeah, shout out to Criticless.
We both walked out having enjoyed it. Your main gripe with it is that you didn't think that it was a good Predator movie. I'm throwing up quotation marks right now. Good Predator movie. But at the consensus that we both had was that this is what The Mandalorian should have been.
Yeah.
In the way of cool, just kind of like bounty hunter in a wild planet that has goofy animal sidekick.
Yeah, the Predator Badlands is a Western. It's a Predator Western with Mandalorian vibes to it. And it doesn't, my main gripe is it doesn't feel like a Predator movie. Like, it doesn't feel like Predator. It's not a horror. This is not a horror movie at all. It
is an action film that is fun. I will say they did a lot with, because they're not humans, they do a lot with being able to dismember and disfigure people, which was very it is very entertaining. I think B is the best spot for it.
It has a soundtrack that has kind of stuck with me, and I like it. It's kind of that alien-ish vibe. Not Alien the Xenomorph. I mean, like the kind of sci-fi, otherworldly soundtrack, which I enjoy. I think Elle Fanning was a knockout. She is awesome. I hope her career explodes because she can act. She's awesome.
She does a very good. She carries the movie.
She carries this movie. You know, she's the heart of the movie.
And that really also does happen because the protagonist doesn't speak English. It's all alien language. So she's the only point of real connection per se in the film. Like, one of your issues is that it personified the Predators, which you weren't necessarily the biggest fan of.
Yeah, there's with the Predator, you look back on the original Predator film, and ever since then, every writer, director, production studio, whoever's making the next Predator film thinks that they have to explain Predator lore and Predator backgrounds. And I mean, even the Alien versus Predator movies, we're getting more legend and lore connecting to the Predators. And the more we know about them and the less mysterious they are, the less interesting they are. And I mean, you could say that with just about anything. The more information and backstory we get,
the more you find out about it, the lamer it gets. Because most of the time, it's. I will say I don't dislike anything with the lore that we got in this film. You had an issue with it. I didn't really have that big of an issue with it because it wasn't bad per se. It's just you lose the mystique of the original Predator. I also, one of my gripes is that I feel like they've gone too. All right. Next is the infamous Lilo and Stitch live action.
Yeah, we had some fun with Lilo and Stitch in 2025. We put up some videos. I did a review. Disney took it down. Copyright claimed it. And take it down. I mean, it was a very unique situation. They didn't just claim the video and keep the money. They claimed it and then took the video down, which is not something Disney often does, especially when I was using their trailers and their promotional footage as part of the clips in the video. Lilo and Stitch is an F tier. This is not a very good film. It's a shame that this movie made as much money as it did. This is one of the highest grossing films of 2025, and that's sad because the first one, the original animated film, and really I think everything that came after it is wonderful with incredible family values. I mean, that's the whole broken family coming together at the end of Lilo and Stitch 1. This film does not have that, and it doesn't have that to the magnitude that too many access media journalists want to tell us it does. No, Nami leaves... Nami. Oh my God, I'm talking... what's her name? It's not Nami. Nami's from One Piece. Nani. Yeah. It's Nani. Nani is she goes off to college and leaves Lilo with the neighbor grandma. And it's supposed to be, oh, well, I can come visit anytime, but that's not as important as the original animated film's ending was, of the whole family finally coming together to be together. So, and also they destroyed Pleakley and Jumba. Cobra Bubbles is not Cobra Bubbles at all. This movie has a very strong sentiment of trust the government, and I don't like that at all. And it's an F-tier movie. Stitch is well animated. The conclusion to the film, replacing the Gantu final fight with Nani walking the ocean floor, is stupid. I don't care what anybody else says. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. And here's why. All right? Here's why. Let's talk about the ending real fast, and then we'll move on. The ending of this film is Stitch can't go in water, right? That's the whole point. Stitch cannot land in water. He sinks. And as he sinks, if we pay attention to the lore here, the further Stitch sinks in water, he becomes denser. So now, sink Stitch to the bottom of the ocean floor. He should be the weight of a boulder. And Nani jumps in, picks him up, and walks the ocean floor, carrying him to safety. Now, okay, did they set up that she's really good at diving and she's, skilled with this stuff? Yeah, okay. Stitch is the weight of a boulder. She should not be able to move. She should not be able to carry him back to the shore. That should not happen. For that reason alone, I'm like, this is unbelievable girl boss, nonsense. And that's all it was supposed. That's all Lilo and Stitch is. It's girl boss nonsense.
It's just a bastardization of a beloved movie. That is what it is.
That is right. I would agree with that.
All right, next on the list is Black Bag.
Black Bag is a mystery film that goes in the B tier. This has a lot of recognizable faces in it. Michael Fassbender is the lead actor. And so what's interesting with this film is I saw this early in the year, early in 2025, and it's because of this film that I was interested in watching The Agency, which is a Paramount Plus show, mostly because I just wanted to see more of Michael Fassbender as an agent. I think there's way too much of a romance plot in The Black Bag. The mystery is interesting. It goes really fast and it talks really highbrow and hopes that you know what they're saying the whole time. The film, I'm talking about. And the resolution of it is good. There's no reason to ever watch this film again. It's a mystery film that once you know the ending, it doesn't matter to watch it again. You're not going to go back for seconds with this film.
Fair enough. Next we have Captain America: Brave New World.
Where does Captain America: Brave New World belong?
For me, it belongs in didn't watch because I still have not watched this film.
Okay, well, for me, it belongs in the F, so it's going to go in the F tier. We've talked about this movie at length. It's not good. It's not worth your time. You can tell, even if you wanted to have Sam Wilson turn from Falcon into Captain America and say, well, it was in the comics. All right, fine. Make a damn good movie then. Make a good movie. I don't care if I like Sam Wilson. I like him as Falcon. I don't really care for him as Captain America. That has no hindrance on my thoughts or review, per se. This movie sucks. It's a bad movie.
All right, fair enough. Then we have Friendship.
I think Friendship is a C. What are your thoughts?
I think so as well. I don't think it lands. I don't think it lands B tier. I think it lands C tier.
It lands C tier for one reason. The runtime.
It is too long. It is too long of a movie. You feel the weight of this by the time that you get to, I want to say, a quarter into the movie. You're like, oh my gosh, how long is this gonna go? And it just goes and goes.
It's an hour and 41 minutes.
It is funny. There was a lot of moments that we were laughing out loud in the theater.
Yeah.
Like we did enjoy the film, but it could have been cut down. And the reason why I kind of want to put it into B tier is that this film is like painful on purpose. And I genuinely do feel that it is padded out for the sake of awkwardness. And I feel like the length of it is somewhat intentional for you to be like, oh my gosh, when is this going to end? This is painful. I don't know. We laughed at it. It was pretty good. The whole build up just for the end scene was pretty funny.
I don't want to spoil anything, but there are very specific setups and payoffs that work for this movie.
We talked about this because he's got a show on, I think, HBO Max now.
Yes, yeah, the chair company.
And we talked about it. It's like, Are we going to see are we going to see a like boredom of his style of comedy?
I hope not. I hope not. I think movies like Friendship will lead to the boredom of his style, unfortunately, which is not good. This is a do it once, don't do a film like this again, and if you do, shorten that runtime because it's a one-off, and I hope it stays that way. I think it belongs in C simply because you want to add that like awkward magnitude to it. All right, but then add to on top of it, I can't ever see myself watching it from start to finish again. And I think at least in this list, that is losing letter values for these movies.
That is completely fair.
Unrewatchability is important. What's next?
We have the second Marvel movie. There was 3 Marvel movies this year.
Okay.
Second of Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts. I want to. My heart is saying it belongs in F. My brain is saying it's a C.
I don't think it belongs in F. I'm okay with C. I think C is adequate for this film. This was a movie that we walked out of not hating.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately, a lot of the films that me and him saw this year, we kind of left being like, I did not like that, and I'm kind of upset that we went to see it.
Yep.
So the fact that we were able to get through this movie and go, hey, that wasn't that bad. I enjoyed it. It felt like old school Marvel movies, the way that they were when we were growing up. I fondly remember the first 10 years of Marvel because there was that looking forward to. And if this was the movie that had came after Endgame, I think things would be maybe different. But it's too far into whatever phase we're in where there is no direction, there is no real purpose behind these movies, except for trying to set up more obscure characters that no one cares about.
Yep.
Like, it's good. We've talked about the significance that this is going to have in the MCU, and we really think that it's going to be. This movie was set up just to be another example of why Doom's going to be super powerful. Our theory is he's gonna just one-shot Sentry because they've made Sentry too powerful of a character.
Yep.
So how else are you gonna establish how powerful Doom is? Oh, he's gonna one-shot Sentry, and everyone's gonna be like, oh my gosh, they couldn't do anything to him. He just did that. Like, it's not bad. It's probably the best. I will say this is probably one of the better Marvel movies to have come out in the last 5 years or so, but it still isn't. It didn't wow me. I wasn't leaving the theater going like, I'm so excited for Marvel again.
It's a box of Wheaties. Watching this film is eating the bowl of Wheaties. It's a quick carb rush, and then you move on with your day. I agree with everything you said, and yeah, just to drive it home, this film is going to be used to establish Sentry, and he is going to die very quickly at the hands of Doom to make Doom look more powerful. That's what this movie is good for.
Which is just, bad writing. Next we have Warfare.
This is our first S tier film. This is, and the reason it goes into S tier is not because I may have loved it. This is an incredibly crafted film. This is an art piece. This is a genuine art piece. It's intensive, it's vicious, and it's very much true. This is based on a true story, and the people that experienced this, the soldiers that experienced this, were involved with the production of this film. So their stories were told. All of the characters in it are real people. And this movie is about a group of soldiers during the Iraq War. So it's American soldiers in Iraq. And this movie it feels long. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's mostly you sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for chaos to ensue. It's a brilliant film. I will never see it again because there's just no. But okay, unlike a lot of the movies on here, I remember the scenes from this movie. I remember the plot of this movie, and it's these military guys living through an op, and how things go south, and you just the whole movie you're not prepared for what's gonna come next, and you're like, oh my gosh, is this really how things went? And then you find out, yeah, it's all true. If you walk away from this movie, I shouldn't say if. You will walk away from this movie thinking war is stupid.
Next is Wicked 2, Wicked for Good.
Wicked 2. People are going to yell at me if I don't put it in C, but I hate this film. I think it's an F.
I watched this film without watching the first Wicked.
I've seen the first Wicked.
So I feel like my take on it is a little bit off because I only got a portion of what was going on. I do understand the plot enough to know what's going on, but Wicked is in that section of musicals that I just do not care for, and I just don't. Watching this movie did not make me want to go back to watch this movie. It did not make me want to watch the Broadway show. It made me go, man, the whole Wicked storyline is stupid.
It is, yeah. It is stupid. I don't like this movie. The first one it overstays its welcome. It's too long, and but it ends on this feeling of hope, and that's why a lot of people went back to see it again and again, even though it's like a 3-hour film. This movie is over 2 hours. It's a dark film, not in the scenery. It's just like the thematic of it is dark, but it's also characters make a lot of stupid mistakes. I understand it's part of the show, like the original Broadway show. I've seen it on Broadway. I think you have too. Have you seen it?
I have not watched it on Broadway. I've never had the interest to.
I've seen it. I liked it. I like the Broadway version of Wicked. I think it's overrated, but I enjoy it. It's not bad per se at all. This movie, I hate everything that this movie represents. I hate how big of a deal it's been. I never want to hear from it, from these actors and actresses again. I never want Universal to make a sequel. I want Wicked gone. This movie and all of the publicity behind it, and Cynthia Erivo is insufferable, and Ariana Grande is insufferable. This movie makes me not want to go to Broadway shows, plural, not just not go to Wicked. This movie, I hate the Broadway culture now, and that's not good because I like Broadway. I like Broadway shows. I actually like musicals. You know, I think you could do a lot with musicals. This is, come on, man. This is not good. And the business precedent behind it, not just, you could say, well, the movie's not for you. It's like, no, but then I look at the business behind it and what Universal was trying to do. Remember this, folks. Wicked was supposed to make $2 billion. $1 billion on the first film, $1 billion on the second. Neither film came close, with Wicked making significantly less than the first film. And it's out, I think it's out on digital now, so like it's not even in theaters. Well, all right, that's just me not understanding time. It is January 2nd now by the time we're doing this.
This came out
for Thanksgiving. This came out for Thanksgiving. But the reason that feels so odd is because Wicked was still big in theaters at the beginning of 2024. The first 2 weeks of January, Wicked was still being talked about. It was still in theaters. It was still a big deal. It is not this time. I hope Universal learns.
Most people that I've seen talk about this film has been, oh yeah, this doesn't hold the candle to the first movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I had it in C. I've moved it to F. Next we have the spin-off to the John Wick movies, Ballerina.
Ballerina is a C movie. It's a C-list movie. This, unfortunately, it's okay. It's an okay movie. I went to this opening night, like opening day. I love the John Wick films, so I was like, all right, I know it's a spin-off, but I'm in because I really like this world, and how can we grow this world? And Ballerina has some incredible action set pieces, but it's kind of an movie. It's not, unlike John Wick, where you believe he's John Wick, you believe that he's this like, and the world reacts to him, and the world's terrified of him, right? And the world is still terrified of him in this movie. There is never that buy-in moment for Ana de Armas as the Ballerina. She doesn't feel like you're here for the John Wick feel, right? She doesn't have it. She's not a good successor to John Wick, and I know that's what they're trying to do, or they were. This movie tanked at the box office. No one saw it, and it's just gonna go to obscurity. They're probably, if they do anything else with John Wick, it's gonna be John Wick 5, and it'll be Keanu Reeves coming back. I don't know. I think we're good, and that's sad because I really wanted more from this world. The action set pieces are not enough, at least for me. At least for me, at like my age now and having seen so many movies, action set pieces are not enough for me to be like, oh yeah, that was incredible, I'm gonna clap like a seal.
Yeah, you're not slurping it up like a hog in a trough.
Yeah, like most podcasters do.
Bring her back.
Bring her back. This is an S tier. This is an S tier film. This is an unsettling horror film. It's grotesque. It's hard to look at. It's a really good, really interesting story. There are some elements to it where perhaps it's and also, okay, so Bring Her Back. It's a horror movie done by the Filippo brothers, who are former YouTubers. You know, they did some of the really cool like fight scenes on like earlier YouTube, and they've been doing these horror movies. Firstly, 2023 we had Talk to Me, and that was brilliant.
Talk to Me.
I think Bring Her Back is also brilliant. It's a different type of brilliant. It's a grotesque horror film. There's a lot of gaslighting elements in this that I don't care for as much. I wish those kind of went in different ways, but it's a very satisfying horror film, and it's a very well done. Again, just like Warfare, this movie's an art piece, and it's a horror movie art piece. It is grotesque. It is like, oh, you can't look at it. You can't look at it. I didn't think there was movies that could get me like that, especially horror movies. You know, most horror movies, you go on apps like Shudder, right? And all the movies on there are, you know, usually it's like, oh, this is grotesque, but it doesn't feel real. And this Bring Her Back movie, the grotesque stuff in here feels real, man. And it's terrifying to look at.
All right, next we have, getting through the rest of the summer blockbusters, we have Superman.
Superman. I think it's a C.
I think so too. It does not deserve an F tier. It doesn't deserve
an
tier.
F.
I'm gonna say that I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if Peacemaker 2 did not go the way that it did, and the Supergirl trailer wasn't the way that it was, I'd be more inclined to put it into B tier.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think you're right about that. I think damage has been done outside of this movie that damages this movie. I think that's a good point.
I really do, because everything that James Gunn is doing with the DC universe after this movie just makes it more questionable than, like, we've talked about. We're gonna get to one of the films. I'm actually gonna move it up because it feels like we should talk about it right after this. What this movie misses is a montage of Superman succeeding and being Superman. In the beginning, it has this really, really poor choice to do just a text layer basically over the screen before Superman crash lands, explaining that, like, all right, he's been Superman for a couple years. He's never lost a fight until today. And it's just like a very lame. It's just lame is the best way I can describe it. It's lame. You don't have that Hercules montage of him being the hero, establishing like, oh yeah, not only is Superman an icon, he's a source of good. He tries to help people no matter what. They do a decent enough job of showing it during the film, but like one of the things about this film is it is predicated on you knowing who Superman is going into this film. If you are like a 5-year-old who has not been introduced to the DC comics in any sense, I feel like you would have been confused. They do not establish that Lex Luthor hates Superman other than he's just doing stuff to stop Superman. There is no conversation of just like, I don't like you, I want to usurp Superman. He's just doing it.
Yeah,
Which it's a weird complaint because who doesn't know Superman? Like, who doesn't know the dynamic they have? But in that sense, you do lose some of the storytelling.
This is the movie that we could talk about it for 80 hours and still not get to the bottom of it. And that's also because there is no bottom to it. This Superman movie, the James Gunn DCU, is an endless pit of probably mediocrity when it's all said and done, going nowhere. I don't care for it. I like the cast. I think the writing's not good enough, but I like the cast, and I'd like to see more from the cast with a different person running the show. It's a middling 50% of the audience liked it, 50% did it. That was me walking out. I was like, there are things in this that I like. There are things in this I despise. But what's annoying is after Peacemaker 2 and how Peacemaker 2 ended, you realize all of this crap is setups for more things that will never be and there's never going to be a payoff. You watch this Superman film, and this is a world establisher. It's not meant to be a Superman film. Peacemaker 2 is not meant to be any kind of conclusion for Peacemaker. It's always Creature Commandos. Also, world establisher. James Gunn is setting up his world, and you know what? Unfortunately, I think it's going to end soon. I don't care about Superman. We'll see Supergirl, but that looks like crap too.
Especially with now the whole Warner Brothers being sold, who knows what will actually happen to the DCU?
Yeah. So be it.
All right,
so be it.
Next is I think this is the final superhero film on our list, is the Fantastic Four.
I think it's a B.
When this came out, the debate was, Superman or Fantastic Four.
Right.
And I was conflicted originally, but now the time has passed and I look back on the two, I do think that Fantastic Four is the better movie. I am okay with it being in B tier. I don't think it goes higher than that because it still falls into the flaws of being a Marvel film, and it runs into a lot of out of all of the Fantastic Four movies, or Marvel movies that have come out recently, this has its own identity. It wears it well. It being in its own contained universe, I think, adds to it significantly. I think there's... I really feel like the biggest issue I might have with it is maybe some of the acting. Like, I feel like the acting falls flat in some places, but never to a point where I'm like, this is bad, or they should have recasted. I think it was more so of a directional point. I don't know. What are you thinking?
I thought it was good. I know a lot of people hate on this, mostly because it's easy to hate on Marvel stuff, and it's easy to hate on Pedro Pascal. He's not a good Mr. Fantastic, but he's a good enough Reed Richards. The stretchy thing, and there's a handful of elements in this film where I'm like, I don't like that. But I think they got Galactus down pat. Galactus is, it was a terrifying villain. When they first introduced Galactus and they got the scale of Galactus right, and they fly out, and there's actual danger and there's actual stakes to this. Is it perfect? No, it's not an A. It's a B. We put it in B for a reason. It's not a perfect film by any means. But it's good, and it's entertaining, and it's better than everything else that's been in Phase 4 and 5 of Marvel. Like they really were trying to satisfy audiences again with this. It plays it safe. There's even elements that people are like, oh man, well, Sue Storm giving lectures to the crowd, and why is she doing that? It's like, no, all of that feels pretty in character. I wish Ben Grimm got more to do. Yeah, me too. I thought Johnny was fine. Oh, they made Silver Surfer a woman, but there's actually a reason for that, and it made sense in the plot. So it wasn't like a female replacement thing to replace Nor and Rad. In fact, there's still room for Nor and Rad to appear in later films. Like they very easily could. With how this movie ends, you could do anything you want going forward. But it worked. This movie worked. It did what it had to do, and at the same time, I'm glad it didn't make money. I just liked seeing Disney squirm.
Next is Death of a Unicorn.
I think this is... I'm conflicted on C or F. And I think I'm going to put it in F. I think it goes into the F. This is a horror movie. The Death of a Unicorn is like a black comedy horror movie, a dark comedy. And, it's kind of violent. It's vicious. But I remember walking out and thinking like, yeah, I wish I didn't go to the theater to see this. I wish I waited to see this on streaming. It's a Paul Rudd movie. The Paul Rudd character, whoever he plays, does things that I don't like. There's actions that the character takes that I don't really care for. The Jenna Ortega, she's in this and she plays herself. Convenient. She plays herself. And I don't like that character either. And then everybody else in it is this has a similar formula to, like we said earlier, there's like the pacifier, and the pacifier is a formula. Well, you could look at something like this and look at a movie like Ready or Not and be like, well, there's a formula to Ready or Not that could be applied to this, or like those high stakes kind of horror movies. Ready or Not is actually very good. Ready or Not is a very good movie that came out a few years ago. Death of the Unicorn, I don't care for this film at all.
All right, the second big hit of the year, we got the Minecraft movie.
Where does Minecraft belong?
All right, this is gonna be a little controversial. I think it goes in C. I don't think it goes in F.
I think you're right. I don't disagree with that.
We saw this, I think, opening day in theaters.
Yeah.
We went to maybe a 12 o'clock showing, and there were people in it. And granted, it was a lot of like high school kids that were there for the meme of it. But I remember pretty early on, it wasn't necessarily like a funny scene, but I just started laughing.
Yeah, there was
the film because of how bad it was.
Yeah.
This movie does have so bad it's good moments to it. I will say I never felt myself being bored watching this movie.
Yeah. I think it's a C.
It's a C tier in that it is nothing to write home about. I don't really think that I'd ever watch this movie again, but it was entertaining in the first watch through of it. Unfortunately, this is also one of those movies that like kids watched that they didn't watch to actually want to watch it. They just were like there to cause an issue, and we saw it before those like things really happened. I know you had a lot of like theaters where they just trashed the entire place. um, which isn't cool. I really, honestly, that's what kind of is compelling me to put it into F tier is the cultural significance around it. But as the film itself, I think it's a C tier.
Yeah, I think it's a... Maybe it's because time has passed and like I have no desire to ever see this again. It could have been a B. It could, like I'm saying, the concept of it could have been a B tier. The movie's a little too long.
No, this movie should have been an A tier. The closest movie to this in terms of like property was the Lego movie. And the Lego movie is a good movie. There's no reason why this needed to be the way that it is. It's confusing because it was made by the people who did Napoleon Dynamite. And there's a lot, like, once you know that, it makes a lot of sense on like, the very weird, awkward humor of it, which is like, it didn't really fit, but like, I was happy with, because the alternative would have been like a no-name writer or a writer who has like very few credits and they're all for like forgettable movies. This movie is at least for like memorable in its awkwardness.
Yeah, I think you're right with a C. Minecraft is a C.
Next we have Companion.
I think Companion is an A. The Companion could have been an S tier if there weren't a couple of things bringing it down. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I really liked the acting in this film. It's just that there are some pieces to it that I don't necessarily care for. The idea with all of these robots and that they're like human companions is okay. It's an interesting concept. Having the robot be able to emote in such a realistic way, very interesting concept. There are just some things that happen where it's like, okay, as a human being, I can't quite give a crap about this robot's fake emotions because they're not real. They're artificial. Like the machines are artificial. And I think that's a concept that comes up for a lot of the robot movies, right? Like I was starting to touch on this with Electric State early in the video. I don't care about robots. They're clankers, right? I don't have emotional connections to the robots. It's the same. It's going to come up when we talk about Tron as well. But that's the maybe the one thing holding this back is that this movie's predicated on you being emotionally connected to the robots, and I'm not, and therefore it's an A. It's not an S.
Fair enough. Next we have Weapons. Now
Weapons.
This is a movie that I saw a lot of people enjoyed.
I was not one of them. This is a pretentious movie. This is a pretentious film. So is Barbarian. You come at me in the comments. I don't care. Weapons, I think, is an F. I hate this movie. Yeah, I don't like this movie.
F.
Yeah, it's an F. I don't like it. I don't like it.
We put Minecraft over Weapons.
I don't care. Come at me in the I don't care. I don't care. There is a lot of conveniences in this film. This is Zach Cregan or whatever his name is sniffs his own farts. He's a fart sniffer. This is a fart sniffer of a movie. Okay? There are really fascinating ideas in this film. But this is a mystery box film, right? This is how is it all going down? What's really happening? It's told for like the movie jumps between different perspectives. It's told in different parts, showing these different perspectives. There's an entire middle section of this that we don't necessarily need. It pads runtime. The villain here does things that are questionable that makes no sense. And when asked about it, the director says like, I didn't know. I just had the idea. What are you doing? What are you doing making scenes and putting them in the movie, putting the VFX budget, wasting everybody's time? You don't even know what it represents. Are you kidding me? Why would... Okay, spoilers, I don't care. Crap movie. The villain haunts the people in the town. But the villain is also trying to be as hidden away as possible to not be discovered. Why would you then willingly haunt the people in town? What, because you want to do some jump scares on the audience? Makes no sense. Why would you do that? That's probably the biggest facet of it. I know a lot of people loved Weapons. I am not one of them. I think Zach Krieger. I walked into this. I did not like Barbarian. I walked into this film thinking, oh man, I hope I'm going to go in blind and really give this its best chance. Nope. No, thanks. Minecraft movie's better.
Okay, next we have Paddington in Peru.
I want to say S, but I know deep down it's an A.
Out of the Paddington is a S tier franchise.
Yeah.
But out of Paddington 1, 2, and Paddington in Peru, Peru is the weakest of the lengths.
It's an A.
It's an A.
Yeah,
it's still a very, very good movie.
Yeah.
But when the last two movies were Paddington and Paddington 2,
it's hard to compete.
It's hard to compete.
Yes. It's great for all ages. Kids will enjoy it. Families will like it. It's a casual watch. It's fun. Paddington's adorable. He's so innocent. You love it. This is a great finale. It's a great finale to the first two films. I almost hope they stop because I don't want them to make a bad Paddington. They haven't made a bad Paddington. Don't start now. Stop while you're ahead. I know Paul King was involved with the first two films, which is why they were so good. Paul King is also the guy behind Wonka, the new Timothée Chalamet series, the Wonka movies. They are making a second one. But he was not as involved at all with this, but his team was involved and the actors from the previous films were involved in this. You can tell that, oh gosh, what's her name? Who's in The Shape of Water? Sally Hawkins. Sally Hawkins is in Bring Her Back. You can tell Sally Hawkins is not in Paddington in Peru. She was recast. That's unfortunate because, she was really one of the heart pieces to the first two films. But yeah, Paddington in Peru, great movie. I love it. It's an A tier.
Next we have Snow White, another of your big hitters.
I think it's higher than F. I think Snow White is higher than F simply because you can torture your friends and family by putting this movie on.
I soul-heartedly disagree. This is an F tier movie. This is an F tier movie.
Would you put Madam Web in F?
It is subpar to Madam Web.
You think Snow White is worse than Madam Web?
Snow White is a way worse film than Madam Web.
That means it should go up.
No.
On the list.
Madam Web is a negative movie. It's got a negative score because it has ironic value to it. Snow White is actually just bad.
Yeah.
Snow White is just bad. That's what the film
I mean,
is.
I'm not disagreeing. It doesn't belong in the F. I'm just saying, can you find diamonds in this pile of poo?
No, I played Balatro during this film. And it was a more captivating and thrilling experience than the movie that was on the screen.
Okay. Now, all right, the two of us are here. We can talk about it. We saw this movie on opening day. We covered it. We had a really great stream that night over on the Pro Show in the review. It was a fun day with a terrible film. But can we talk about the other people that were in the theater with us now?
Yeah.
Now that we're both here together.
There was, including us, there was a total of 4 individuals who watched this film.
First showing.
The first showing, it was very early into the day. The first individual who was already there, who had the popcorn bucket and everything going, was a handicapped individual.
Yes, handicapped individual who was clearly a large Disney fan. Yes.
And was there to have a good time. I remember when we walked in, he said hello to us. He was very excited to see it.
He wanted to talk to us.
He was the prime. It was his. That's what he wanted to see. He wanted to watch Disney movies. That he completely fine, completely made sense. I think he had a great time. I vaguely remember seeing him stand up and start clapping at the end.
I deliberately didn't want to do anything in the showing because I didn't want to ruin it for him.
I am happy that he had a good time.
Yeah, he had a great time, and I'm happy for him.
The second person that came in was a scoundrel-like character, I will say. I don't know what language I could use to accurately describe.
Yeah, we have to be very careful.
Without getting flagged or demonetized.
Well, we could say this individual was a male in his, I would say, mid to late 40s, who was there with the express intent of looking for children.
This man drives a white van. This man has signs out to, for kids to go get candy from him. And this was the individual that walked in, and we immediately clocked him when he was coming in, and I'm pretty sure he clocked us too.
He did. He did. It was weak. We made eye contact with him. He made eye contact with us. We knew immediately who he was, and he knew immediately that we knew. It's actually legitimately scary. And then to think that's close to home. It's nearby.
I don't know if he finished the movie. I want to say he left early.
He walked out early, but he didn't leave the theater. He left the theater when we did, because we saw him going to his car.
And it was.
But he left early from the theater.
Oh, this is uncomfortable now.
Yeah, the whole time we were sitting there like, there's one of those creepazoids in this theater with us, and there's nothing we could do. We have no evidence of. But it was like we knew, and he knew we knew.
It was funny that we had polar opposite ends of the spectrum of purest intent in watching the movie and absolute sinful, horrific intentions for watching a movie.
Yeah, that was an experience.
It was an experience, but it was bad. It was bad. I remember being home. My mother put it on, and she's a massive Snow White fan. She loved the original.
Yes.
And she did not like this movie.
She did not like it.
She did not like this movie. This movie is bad. It does not deserve anything other than F.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, you're right.
All right. Next is Wildcat.
Just toss it in the F. We're not going to waste much time. Wildcat's a pile of crap movie. Kate Beckinsale, the Ozempic is showing. Skip this piece of crap. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. I think there's money laundering involved in Minecraft in the process of making this film.
I think we're going to have a trifecta right here, because the next on our list is Tron Ares, which also was terrible.
Bad. It was bad. It was another bad movie.
It was bad. Tron Ares was also another funny theater experience, because there was a decent amount of people in.
Yeah.
No, there was maybe 10 other people in this theater with us.
I'd say there was more than that. There was a good amount of people in our showing.
Well, I will say I think there was maybe 10 people left by the time that this film ended. Several people walked out of this film.
Yeah, we did have walkouts. Oh, we had them next to us. I remember that. Yeah, they were in the same row as us. They left.
There was a couple who had a blanket. And they left. I want to say maybe 20 minutes into this film.
20 minutes in, they walked out.
20 minutes in, they walked
didn't come
out.
Back.
Which could you? Listen. I have never walked out of a film before. Movie theaters are expensive. Tickets are expensive. You didn't even make it 20 minutes in and you went, I'm done. I'm out of here. That's the quality of this movie.
The only reason look, if a movie starts and you're like, oh no, I'm in the wrong movie, you usually hustle out pretty quickly. They waited 20 minutes, so I know that that's not the case. But they also left their stuff behind. They left their popcorn behind. They littered all over. They left everything behind and bounced. I don't know. Maybe there was something going on. They had to run, but they didn't run out in a rush. They just got up and left. So, yeah. But yeah, they started. They were in the blanket and they were all cuddled up, and then they left.
After this film, we talked about it at length. I really don't think it. We feel passionate about this movie because we do enjoy the Tron franchise as a whole, and this unfortunately was the nail in the coffin that this franchise is dead. It's not coming back. Toast. A lot of people were saying because it had Jared Leto in it was the what killed it. He wasn't the worst part about this film.
No. Greta
by
Lee
any
is.
metric.
Greta
In
Lee
fact,
is an
I think
awful actress.
I remember saying while the movie was going on, I'm really happy they hired people who have never spoken before. This is, you know, nobody knows how to talk in this movie.
Yeah, this is not written by people that speak with other human beings.
It fits the whole Tron aesthetic, because like I kind of do believe this was written by an AI.
What's annoying to me is that here's a movie that's so bad, and I know so much to talk about on. Like, we could do 3-hour
We could
discussions
talk
on this
about
film.
it for hours. No one cares.
No one will watch those discussions because
No one
no
cares.
one gives a crap about this movie. Like, it went into obscurity instantaneously, and that
sadly,
sucks.
Sadly, even if we talked about it when it came out for 3 hours long, nobody would have cared back then either.
Right.
It's just that bad.
But no, that's what I mean. Like, even as it was
Yeah.
out, we could have done like long discussion videos on it, and nobody would have watched them because this movie is that bad, and no one cares. So,
All right, next is The Long Walk.
we got 4 for 4 in F. Throw that into F. Let me talk about it for a second. The Long Walk is yeah.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
My favorite comment I've seen about this film is one of the characters is a little overweight and shows up in jeans. And someone put the comment of, how are you going to show up to The Long Walk fat and in jeans?
That is scratching the surface, I think, on how dog poo this movie is. But also, I'm not the biggest fan of Stephen King. I don't really care for Stephen King. I also don't care for book to movie translations anymore. As I grow older, I become more cranky with them. And Stephen King and many other book to film movies suffer from something that I call book speak or book talk, where there is moments where the character cuts away to explain that, oh, and then I looked at the sesame seeds on that burger bun, and it made me think of when my father served in the Vietnam War, and he tells me a story about he found some daffodils over in Vietnam, and that's weird because daffodils aren't in Vietnam. You know what I'm saying, right? The book speak that books do when they're trying to like drive something home. I hate that shit. I don't like it. It's annoying. It's not real. People don't think like that. People don't talk like that. And this movie is just, hey, my name is Billy. Here's my backstory. Boom, Billy gets shot. Hey, my name is Jimmy. Here's my backstory. Boom, Jimmy gets shot. And it's like that for 2 hours. This movie sucks. It made me angry because it's nothing but that book speakification plus never-ending backstory kill shots. That's the movie. That is the movie. It's aggressively mediocre for a story that, and of course it ends on one of those like not satisfying endings where it's like, and you decide where the world goes after this. And it's not a conclusive conclusion. F. A lot of Stephen King's movies belong in F for more reasons than one.
All right, next we have How to Train Your Dragon live action.
I think this is a C. I think it's a C. I know a lot of people liked it. We didn't even finish it. We got close to the end and we're like, we know what happens. It's boring.
It didn't need to be made. It didn't need to be made. The original still holds up to a degree that this was not needed to be made.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say about the live action remakes. If it was like a 3D movie that you can't watch anymore because the 3D animation is that bad and you want to make a live action of it, all right, that makes a little sense. Maybe it's too, like, it kind of hurts to watch the old film. There's not many films that fit that criteria. How to Train Your Dragon is a very well animated movie back in 2011?
Or 2009, 2010 maybe. It was either 2009 through 2011 is when it came out.
It still holds up now. I watched it. I watched the original, I think, 2 times this year. In one time for the live action, and then one because we went to the Epic.
Yeah, we went to Epic.
And it was very cool. And I will say, I think the Dragon World was the best world there. It had the best roller coaster. But this movie did not need to be made or exist. It's fine. Like, it's a good movie, but that's just because the original is a good movie. There's no merit that this movie has that wasn't just stolen from the original.
Yep. It's a C. This movie is specifically made to make more money on a franchise that had a pretty good ending, and it's a conclusive ending. But nope, Universal's milking it for money. This is a money maker. It's safe.
Again.
It's boring because of all the filler. It's kind of lifeless, I think. And yeah, it's just a money maker movie. That's all it's for. Boring.
All right, next is something I didn't know existed. Eenie Meanie.
Eenie Meanie, dude. Yeah. This is a Hulu original film that came out last year. I think it's a C. I hate this movie, but it's a C. This movie is Samara Weaving. That's why I watched it, because I really like Samara Weaving, who's also, I talked about it before, she's in Ready or Not. And this is a criminals, scumbags doing jobs and doing things. And the one lead protagonist dude character is a piece of shit. The guy is bad news. He's a bad news thug. He's a piece of garbage. But like, she's got that soft spot for him, because like, maybe he'll pull his act together. Maybe he'll get it all together. He's not, I wouldn't say he's like abusive. He's very protective, but the whole film is just these these thugs doing crime. And it's an awful slog of a watch. And then the ending happens and you're like, all right, I'm just going to spoil it. Spoilers for Eenie Meanie. She shoots him. She has to kill him because he's that dangerous to it. Like, he's so detrimental. And also she's pregnant with his baby, like very early on. And it's coming to terms with the crime and like trying to get out of the underworld. But like, it's the kind of thing, like they walk into a store and he just starts stealing stuff. And she's like, well, why did you do that? And he's like, because I did. Because I can. It is the worst type of guy you know. Like, this character is the worst person you know. It is a screaming neon sign of get the heck away from this guy, because these people exist in real life. These psychopathic, dangerous people who can't help themselves, they exist, and they'll destroy themselves and they destroy you. And I actually shut this movie off because I hated it so much. Because they play it off as like, oh, it's just this guy. But the whole time he's picking fights with people, he's stealing stuff, he's getting himself beat up, you know, he's causing trouble, he's ruining her life, he's ruining his life. He is the worst guy you've ever met in high school. And I shut it off because I hated it. But then I was like, you know what? I want to write a criticalist review and I want to be honest about my thoughts. And I put it back on and I watched the ending of it. I skipped to the ending because I just didn't care about what happens in the Act 2. And that's why it's in C. It was going to be an F if it wasn't for the ending where she shoots this bastard so that she can start her life and her baby's life on the right foot and get away from this guy. And they're like, because there's no escape for them. It's not just like she turns and kills him. Like, there was, like, he put them in a position where the only way out is for her to end him. And it was like, all right, that was logical. I wish you did that in the first 5 minutes and I didn't waste my time with this crap. The only reason it's in C is because it has that, I can't believe I'm saying it, positive value behind it. These people exist in real life. Get the hell away from them. Bit of a lesson on that one. Black Phone 2 is an S tier film. If the first film is an A tier, I loved it. The second film, the Black Phone series, the first film ends on with such a great conclusion, such a good resolution. You're like, huh? How is there a sequel? And then they made a sequel, like they did, like when they announced Black Phone 2. I'm like, how? It's got to be like a prequel or something, or there's got to be something else going on. And then no, Black Phone 2 is an actual sequel to the first film. And it's great, man. It ties into loose ends of the first film that you didn't know were loose ends. The acting is really good. The story is really interesting. The use of the budget is really well done. I know this was a small budget film. They got a little bit more than the first, but it's still a small budget film, and it is. I love it. I love it. But again, don't make a third one. Like, don't make more of these. Please leave it as 2. I think there's a chance it's going to get a third film, but yeah, Black Phone 2, I loved it. That was a good movie.
All right, and then finally, Sinners.
Here, maybe this is the most controversial film on the list here, because if I put it in F, people will not be happy with me. If I put it in S, people will not be happy with me. And that seems to be how everyone judges this film. For me, it's an S. This is an S film. I walked away from this movie, moved for days. Like, for days, I had to wrap my head around something like this. And that's because this movie has such deep characterization tied into a very strong plot. Tied into a very interesting plot. And a lot of people don't like it. I think it overstays in a couple of places. Like, there's a lot of gratuitous nudity that if you didn't have that, the movie would be better. Like, you didn't necessarily need all of it in the way that you performed it, but like, you get your point across, right? No, this movie rocks. This was a good film. The ending and the epilogue tied with it were meaningful, and it was like a knockout of, all right, so Ryan Coogler can make magic when he's not on the Disney leash. And I really like Sinners.
No, I think it fits. I think Sinners is definitely an S. I think out of all of the films that we've put on this list so far, I think Sinners is the one that I can look at the most favorably out of everything here. I think it does. I understand that there are people that do not like this film, or I think most people's gripes with this film are inconsequential, and that it's like I feel like you're being a contrarian just for the sake that people enjoy this.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I know a lot of people were upset with all the perverted stuff in it. Or all the gratuitous nudity.
That is the one thing that I will say I did not care for. I don't even think that it was needed in the way that, like, oh, well, it was needed for the storytelling. It's like, nah, it really wasn't.
Yeah, you could have played it off different ways. It's the same way that, like, there's a reason, like, now younger generations are, look at, they don't really care for gratuitous nudity. I fit that criteria. I don't think it's necessary. Game of Thrones does it all the time, and I don't think it's necessary. You could have just easily started these scenes and then closed the door. We know what's going on. You don't need to be so revealing.
It used to be for shock factor. This doesn't really have the shock. Like, it's not shocking. It's like, okay, it's here.
Yeah.
It's here. But I don't think that is enough of a demerit to knock it down to A. I think S is... like, Michael B. Jordan kills it.
Oh, my gosh. Him and...
He kills it twice.
Haley Steinfeld, man. Wow. What a performance. Everybody... But no, it's not just, we're picking out names.
No,
everyone in this knocks it out. The cast, the acting here is amazing.
I mentioned before that, like, if Robert Pattinson got the Oscar for Mickey 17, I wouldn't be upset. I lied. I would be upset because it should go to Michael B. Jordan.
I really like Robert Pattinson. I don't think he's going to get the Oscar for Mickey 17.
No, I think if it was a different year, I'd make the argument, but it should go to Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. I've thought about it. I'm putting K-pop Demon Hunters at A.
I won't fight it. I won't fight it.
And I think it goes there. I think it's worthy of an A tier. I don't think anything else really is going to move. The only other films we were teetering on were, I think, Luckiest Man in America. That's staying in B.
Yeah, it's a B. I think it's good.
I don't see anything in F moving up. I don't see anything in B moving down. I think we're good.
All right, full send. And it would appear that's our list. Look, 2025 had its highs and its lows. Lots of lows, but some highs. Some studios remembered how to make movies. Most forgot. And I sat in theaters, or more often my couch, watching all of it so I could come here and tell you about it. I love movies. I love going to the movies, despite the fact that I have a litany of issues with the theater businesses and the movies being offered. I don't want this communal experience to go away, and I fear that the movie theater experience is. But only time will tell. Until next time, create, innovate, inspire, and for the love of God, cancel Disney Plus.